In Lagos, a powerful CFO destroyed a junior employee's career over a 3 million mistake. What she didn't know was that the same employee had just uncovered a financial empire of fraud worth 300 billion. And the woman who refused to forgive a small mistake was about to face a debt she could never repay. Amara Okafor was the most feared financial executive in Lagos. At just 36, she had become the chief financial officer of one of the most powerful investment firms in West Africa. Inside VantageCore Holdings, people whispered a nickname whenever she walked past. The Collector. Because if you owed the company money, Amara would find you. And she would collect. No excuses. No mercy. No forgiveness. Which is why no one was surprised the day she destroyed Ngozi Daniels' career over a 3 million naira accounting error. But what Amara didn't know was that Ngozi had already discovered something far more dangerous. A financial machine built on deception. A machine designed by Amara herself. And the man Amara once sacrificed to protect her secret was about to become the one person capable of destroying her. The person she thought she controlled was secretly recording everything. In Lagos, people say two things travel faster than traffic: money and secrets. No one understood both better than Amara Okafor. At 36, she was the youngest chief financial officer at VantageCore Holdings, a massive investment firm with fingers in banking, energy, and tech across West Africa. Newspapers called her the Iron Accountant. Competitors called her dangerous. Employees called her something else entirely when she wasn't around. Debt collector. Not officially, of course. But everyone knew if you owed the company money, Amara would find you. And she would collect. The meeting. The boardroom was silent except for the clicking of Amara's pen. Across the polished glass table sat a sweating man in a wrinkled grey suit. Tunde Babalola, Regional Operations Manager. Formally, Amara closed the file slowly. "Mr. Babalola," she said calmly, "you authorized a transfer of 870 million to a vendor that doesn't exist." Tunde wiped his forehead. "I can explain." Amara leaned back. "I'm listening." I was going to replace it." The board members exchanged looks. Amara's voice stayed level. "With what money?" Tunde's throat moved. "My brother had a medical emergency. I needed time. I invested the money in crypto trading to grow it quickly, but the market." "You gambled company funds." "No," he protested. "I was trying to multiply it." "And instead you lost everything." Silence filled the room. The CEO, Gabriel Ademi, finally spoke. "Amara, what are our options?" Amara didn't hesitate. "We prosecute." Tunde's chair screeched as he stood. "Please don't ruin my life." His voice cracked. "My children. You should have thought about them before stealing." "I'll repay every naira," he cried. "With what?" He dropped to his knees. In a Lagos boardroom. In front of executives. "Please," he whispered. Even the board looked uncomfortable. But Amara didn't blink. Then Gabriel cleared his throat. "Step outside for a moment, Mr. Babalola." Security escorted the man out. The door shut. Gabriel sighed. "Amara, he's been with this company 12 years. And he stole nearly 1 billion naira. He was desperate. That's not an accounting category." A board member spoke quietly. "If we prosecute, the media will destroy us." Gabriel rubbed his temples. Then he made the decision. "We forgive the debt." The room froze. Even Amara. Gabriel continued. "He loses his job, signs a non-disclosure agreement, but we don't press charges." Amara's voice dropped. "You're cancelling 870 million. "Yes. That's irresponsible." "That's mercy." Amara stared at him. "Mercy is expensive." Gabriel held her gaze. So is destroying a man's life. Then he added something that irritated her even more. Let it go, Amara. She closed the file slowly. But inside, something hardened. The parking garage. 2 hours later, Amara stepped into the underground parking garage. Her heels echoed sharply against concrete. She hated losing. And today felt like losing. As she approached her black SUV, she heard a voice. Amara. She turned. Standing near a pillar was Ngozi Daniels. Junior accountant. Nervous smile. Holding a folder. Amara frowned. What is it? Ngozi walked closer. I was hoping to speak with you. Tomorrow. It's urgent. Amara sighed. 30 seconds. Ngozi swallowed. I made a mistake in the quarterly reports. What kind of mistake? A small reconciliation error. How small? Ngozi hesitated. Amara's eyes narrowed. How small? 3.8 million. Amara stared at her. You misallocated nearly 4 million naira. It wasn't intentional. Nothing ever is. Ngozi rushed her words. I can fix it, I just need a few weeks to sort the accounts. You've already had 2. Ngozi froze. You knew. Of course I knew. Amara stepped closer. Do you know why I didn't call you into my office? Ngozi shook her head slowly. Because I wanted to see if you'd confess. Tears filled Ngozi's eyes. I'm sorry. You're responsible for financial compliance. I know. And yet you falsified numbers. I didn't falsify anything. You hid it. Ngozi's voice broke. My mother's hospital bills drained my savings. I've been working extra hours trying to fix the reports, but I just need time. Amara crossed her arms. Time is money. I'll repay it if necessary. With what salary? Ngozi looked desperate. Please don't report this. Amara's voice turned cold. Why shouldn't I? Because you understand pressure. Amara almost laughed. You're comparing your situation to corporate fraud. It's just a mistake. So was tons. Ngozi blinked. You're not serious. Amara opened her car door. Human Resources will contact you tomorrow. Ngozi grabbed her arm. Please. Amara pulled away. You're terminated. And the financial misconduct report. Filed. Ngozi's face went pale. That will blacklist me from every finance firm in Nigeria. Amara didn't care. Actions have consequences. Ngozi whispered something. So softly Amara almost didn't hear it. But they forgave him. Amara paused. Excuse me. The company forgave 870 million today. Ngozi's voice trembled. But you won't forgive 3 million. Amara's eyes hardened. You're not him. No, I'm not. Ngozi stepped back slowly. But one day you'll wish someone showed you the mercy you refused today. Amara got into her car and drove away. Without another word. The secret email. 3 weeks later. Everything changed. Amara was reviewing acquisition documents when her assistant rushed in. Ma'am, you need to see this. What is it? A message sent to the entire board. Amara opened the email. Her stomach tightened. It was anonymous. Subject line. VantageCore fraud files. Attached were documents. Bank statements. Offshore transfers. Internal approvals. Amara's approvals. Her heart stopped. Because the documents suggested something impossible. That she had authorized the missing 870 million. Her voice went cold. This is fabricated. Her assistant looked terrified. The board doesn't think so. Amara stood slowly. Who sent this? No one knows. Her phone rang. Gabriel. She answered. Yes. His voice was serious. Amara, we need to talk. When? Now. The twist. 20 minutes later, she walked into the same boardroom. But this time, the seats felt different. Because everyone was looking at her. Not with respect. With suspicion. Gabriel spoke carefully. These documents claim you approved the transfer Tund made. That's impossible. The digital signatures are yours. They're forged. Another board member slid a document toward her. Then explain this. Amara's breath caught. It was an internal memo. Her memo, approving the vendor payment. Dated 2 weeks before the fraud. Her voice dropped. I didn't write this. But it's your login credentials. Someone else spoke. Cybersecurity confirmed the access came from your laptop. Amara's mind raced. That couldn't be true. Unless. Then the door opened. And security escorted someone inside. Amara felt the blood drain from her face. Because the person walking in was Ngozi Daniels. The woman she fired. Ngozi looked calm. Too calm. Gabriel said slowly. Ms. Daniels claims she discovered evidence that you were behind the missing money. The room went silent. Amara stared at her. You're lying. Ngozi met her eyes. Am I? Then she said something that made the entire room freeze. Check the offshore account in Mauritius. Gabriel looked at Amara. Care to explain? Amara didn't. Because she couldn't. She didn't even know it existed. And suddenly, for the first time in her career, Amara Okafor realized something terrifying. Someone had just placed her in debt. A debt far bigger than money. And she had no idea how to escape it. Type oh no if you believe this is Ngozi's doing. Type oh yes if you are rooting for Amara. Tell us where you are watching from. Hit the subscribe button, share this beautiful story. Part 2. The trap was already set. The boardroom had never felt this cold before. Amara sat at the long glass table, perfectly still, while the members of the VantageCore board stared at her as if she were someone they had never met. Because in a way, she was. Gabriel Ademi stood by the window, hands in his pockets, looking down at the slow Lagos traffic 20 floors below. He didn't speak for a long moment. Finally he turned. Amara, he said quietly, you told us the documents were forged. They are. He slid a tablet across the table. Forensics says otherwise. Amara opened the file. Login timestamps. Server records. Encrypted approval chains. Every digital trail pointed to one person. So, she forced a calm smile. Digital signatures can be manipulated. Gabriel nodded slowly. Yes, they can. Then he looked toward the door. Ngozi. The young accountant stepped forward. Gone was the timid employee who once stood nervously in the parking garage. Now her posture was straight. Confident. Her eyes met Amara without hesitation. Amara leaned back. So this is your revenge? Ngozi didn't react. I didn't come here for revenge. Of course you did, I fired you. No, Ngozi replied quietly. You fired yourself. The room shifted. Amara's smile faded. What exactly are you accusing me of? Ngozi placed a flash drive on the table. 3 months ago I discovered discrepancies in the vendor payment network. She tapped the table screen. The financial map expanded. Lines connected accounts across Lagos, Dubai and Mauritius. The vendor Tund paid, Ngozi continued, wasn't fake. Amara felt the first crack in her composure. It was a shell company, Ngozi said. And someone inside VantageCore created it. The board leaned forward. Who? One member asked. Ngozi turned slowly and looked straight at Amara. You did. Silent. The kind that feels like gravity pressing down on your chest. Amara laughed softly. That's absurd. Ngozi didn't argue. Instead, she pressed another key. A new file opened. Internal emails. Authorization logs. Project codes. And then, a document Amara recognized instantly. Her own strategic memo. But this one had something she hadn't expected. A hidden comment thread. Her fingers tightened around the tablet. Because she remembered writing it. But she had deleted the comments. Or so she thought. Gabriel watched her carefully. You want to explain this? Amara's voice stayed steady. This proves nothing. Ngozi finally spoke again. You're right. Then she dropped the real bomb. Tund didn't steal the money. The board exploded in murmurs. Ngozi continued calmly. He moved the money because Amara ordered him to. All eyes snapped back to Amara. Her expression hardened. Show proof. Ngozi nodded. I can. She pulled up a recording. The room filled with static. Then voices. Tund's voice. Panicked. And another voice. Cool. Controlled. Amara. Recording. Tund, this is too risky. Amara, you're not thinking big enough. Tund, if the auditors see this. Amara, they won't. Tund, what if something goes wrong? Amara, then you'll say you acted alone. Silent. Then Tund whispered. You'd let them destroy me. Amara's recorded voice answered calmly. You're replaceable. The recording ended. No one spoke. The sound of Lagos traffic far below felt impossibly distant. Finally, a board member whispered. My God. Gabriel slowly sat down. He folded his hands. Amara. For the first time in years. She didn't immediately respond. Because she knew the game had shifted. But Amara Okafor wasn't a woman who panicked. She was a woman who calculated. Carefully, coldly, she turned to Ngozi. How long have you been collecting this? Ngozi answered simply. Since before you fired me. The room stiffened again. You suspected me before the board meeting, Amara asked. Yes. And yet you said nothing. I was verifying. Amara's eyes narrowed. Or building leverage. Ngozi didn't respond. Gabriel watched the two women like a chess player, studying the board. Amara, he said quietly. You manipulated a subordinate into committing fraud. You forgave him, Amara replied sharply. Gabriel's eyes held hers. Yes. Then the matter was resolved. No, he said. It was. Amara felt something strange. For the first time. Gabriel looked almost relieved. Not angry. Relieved. And that realization triggered a new thought. A dangerous one. She leaned forward slowly. You knew. The room froze again. Gabriel didn't answer. Amara's voice dropped to a whisper. You knew the entire time. Another board member looked confused. Knew what? Amara stared at Gabriel. You suspected me before today. Gabriel exhaled slowly. I suspected something was wrong. How long? Long enough. Then why cancel Tund's debt? She demanded. Why forgive him? Gabriel leaned back and finally revealed the first true twist. Because I needed to see what you would do. The board stared at him. Amara's mind raced. Gabriel continued calmly. If you had shown mercy to Ngozi that day. He let the sentence hang. Then finished it. This meeting would never have happened. The realization hit like a physical blow. This had been a test. And she had failed it. Spectacularly. Ngozi spoke quietly. When you refused to forgive me. She looked at Amara. I knew exactly who you were. Amara's jaw tightened. You think this proves anything? Ngozi didn't blink. It proves everything. Another board member asked Gabriel. So what happens now? Gabriel looked at Amara for a long time. Then he said something unexpected. We give her the same chance she gave others. The room waited. Gabriel's voice was steady. Amara can repay the full 870 million. Shock rippled across the board. Oh. Gabriel finished calmly. Or we prosecute. Amara laughed. You think I have that kind of money? Gabriel held her gaze. You're very good at hiding assets. Another long silence. Then Amara stood slowly. For the first time in years. She felt the walls closing in. But she still had one move left. And she played it. If I go down, she said quietly. VantageCore goes down with me. The board stiffened. Gabriel's eyes sharpened. What does that mean? Amara smiled. The kind of smile that makes people nervous. You think 870 million is the biggest secret in this company. No one spoke. Then she delivered the twist no one expected. Check the energy investment portfolio. Gabriel frowned. What about it? Amara looked around the room. And said softly. The missing money was just the beginning. What does Amara mean by her last statement? See you in the next video for the second part of this intriguing story. Hit that subscribe button for more inspiring stories from Light.